What's up, everybody? Joe from the Pack Cards and Collectibles. Just wanted to make a quick video of our return with HGA, known as Hybrid Grading Approach. We submitted some trading cards with them back on August 12th. This video is being recorded September 24th, and we got them sent back about 1 month exactly. Around September 14th was the date we got them back. Originally, it was a 60-day turnaround. They had managed to get these back faster than 60 days, which is really impressive. So right off the bat, it's already to a good start in my opinion. And I wanted to show off the slabs, what they look like, what their grading scale looks like, whether it's fair, whether it's unfair, and just give my honest review on what I think about their grading process. Right now, I have 7 graded cards with HGA on me. The other 2, I have another person holding on to them, but I do have the pictures, and we'll go ahead and show these pictures. What we're going to be seeing is Digimon, because my priority grading collecting brand is Digimon, and we're going to do we did the Pokemon one just because I was a really big fan of the card and I wanted to see what it was going to come back at. So we did a little bit of experimenting with that. And so that card is the Rillaboom Gold from Darkness Ablaze. Since I don't have that card on me, and there it is graded a 9, and we got a 10 subgrade, which is really cool, but we got that 8.5 subgrade, which really hurt us. And I think that subgrade alone is what got us a 9 rather than getting the 9.5. So the back of the slab didn't look too bad. The front did look a little bit off, but it didn't look off to the point where I'd be getting an 8.5. So I think the grading on that was a little bit harsh from my opinion, or from my point of view. I will say to help my case, and having looked at some subgrades with HGA on eBay and some of the cards being sold there are some cards that were like way more off-centered than the one that I just had sent over, that Rillaboom, and they got a 9 on centering. So that to me felt a little bit uncomfortable to see off the bat, was potentially something being, wrong on the subgrade with the centering. So I'd like to challenge HG on that regard. So I'm not sure how I feel about that 100%, but it is what it is. It was more of, like I said, a test to see how they're grading. But overall, all the other subgrades I felt were pretty fair. I mean, I'll take a 10 all day. I agree on the 10. I'd be more critical if I felt like it wasn't a 10, but no, that sounds about right. And the other subgrades seem pretty fair. So I felt strong about this card. Thought it was going to get a 9.5. It got a 9 overall. So I missed the mark on that one. Second card, and here's going to be some interesting ones. I sent in 2 of the exact same card. And the reason why I sent 2 of the exact same card, because I wanted to see how they would grade with 2 exactly the same cards and see if they would get similar subgrades. I wanted to see what the slight little mistakes on this card was as opposed to the other card, and see how they sort of lined up to see if there's consistency. So we sent up the same card, and here I'm going to be showing up the next picture. It did get a 9 on this one, and this one was a really tough grade. Like this one I thought could have got a 9.5, but I can also agree with the 9. So I'm not too upset with this. The subgrades seem pretty fair. The centering felt like a lot better of a subgrade than the Rillaboom, so I felt like that was pretty fair. So overall, I was okay with this one getting the 9 because the corners were a little bit, they did have a little bit of whitening. So I was just curious to see how they would grade that with a card sent in like that. That way, moving forward, if I send in cards that look like that one, I kind of know what to expect, right? And so here's the other card, and now we're going to cut back to the video here where my beautiful War Greymon playmat. If you guys don't have these War Greymon playmats, they just dropped. They're an official Bandai playmat, and it's just beautiful War Greymon's GOAT. And yeah, if you buy one, you also get a free BT5 booster pack, which is pretty cool. You never know if you can hit a secret rare off that. But yeah, overall, a great mat. If you don't have one, they're on our store. Quick shout out. But yeah, really cool playmat if you guys don't have playmat. But yeah, anyways, aside for the point, here we are. This is the second card, and it is the Omnimon X Antibody. That is the one we are talking about. And this one did get a 9.5. It got a 10 on centering, which was pretty interesting. And overall, I knew this one was the better shaped card. There is a small little white nick at the top left, as you can see. So when we flip that over, we can kind of see the 9.5 on the corners, or a 9 on the edges. So depending on how they grade that little nick, that looks like it could be on the edge and not the corner. It's just borderline, like really close. But yeah, overall, I think it was a really clean card. I think that was really the only issue. To be honest, the centering did seem a little bit off, like not a perfect 10 to me. It looked more like a 9.5, but you know, it is a 10. So I feel like overall, the centering is not 100% accurate from first impressions, right? From these first few cards that I've been showing. And so not sure if the 10 was even needed, but if I got anything less than that, then this could have been risked to be a 9. Overall, yeah, there's some scratches on the surface, which really got that was a tough grade too. The surface, I felt like this was a 9.5 surface, but yeah, they must have saw some more stuff, some additional scratches that, you know, they were like, you know what, that's just a 9. So the corners I thought were strong enough to hold, but again, I guess not. So 9.5 in the corners, not bad regardless. So yeah, that's a 9.5 Battle of Omni X Antibody. And so going into the next card, so some of these are mine, some of these are my brother's, and here's the next card. So before you even see the grade, just get an idea of what it looks like. The centering looks really good, much better in my opinion than the Antibody. Yeah, the centering may be a little bottom heavy, but it's not too bad. There's a little bit of a whitening at the bottom left, like I mentioned, and the top looks pretty clean. Actually, there's a little bit of a nick at the top right. And so let's see what we get on this one. This is a 9 War Greymon alternative art from BT1. And this was a tough one too. So I can totally agree if you're giving me 9s on those little errors that I pointed out. So the edges of 9 make sense. The centering 9, again, that's a bit rough one compared to how I got a 10 on this one. Like if you can notice, it's a little bit right heavy from just looking at it. And another interesting thing about this card is it goes downward, like diagonally. Like the line doesn't go straight down. It goes a little diagonal from the print. And so that to me is like why I don't know if the 10 makes sense. If anything, a 10 makes more sense on this card, but it didn't get it. It got a 9 on centering. So looking at the front, it's really hard to tell what's the centering. So I don't know if they're judging it more on the front than they are the back, but I feel like the back is a good indicator of what centering should be graded at. So overall, this one gets a 9. And I mean, I'm happy. It's a War Greymon. It's in a beautiful slab. I will say, like, I haven't talked about the artwork of these slabs. These are the slabs that match the card. The neutral slab match card. That's what they're called on their website. And so yeah, that's what you can find. I'm personally a bigger fan of this look over the splash look. I think the splash look is just a bit like busy, and I think the clean, just having like font, everything by itself in a clean fashion, I think that makes up for a really good looking card. Overall, I'm really happy with the way these look. So that makes me feel happy when I'm able to show the card off to friends and people. It's like, hey, look at this card. Oh, it's really nice, you know, and it's something I feel a little more proud of rather than just looking at a PSA slab. Because my biggest issue, and I feel like a lot of people have the same issue, is that the PSA slabs are just ugly. Some people don't mind it. They like the simplicity. Again, it's subjective. But if these are for personal, then I will take these all day. And that's my personal preference. And here's another cool one. Another one, my brother's that he had graded. And this one, let's take a look at it. A little bit of a rough going on at the bottom corner. This one looks pretty clean. A little bit. So this one was a little bit rough on the corners. But overall, it's a pretty nice card. So let's check this one out. And it got a 9.5. So again, there's a 9 on the corners. To me, that makes sense. The surface of a 9.5, meaning there's like minimal scratches, if not just like 1 or 2. I do agree with that one as well. So that's fair. Edges were a 9.5. I also really agreed with that because the edges seem very clean. And the centering a 9.5. So I feel like the centering is where I'm having an issue. if it even makes sense for Digimon. Digimon's a brand new card game, and so I don't know if everybody's got their, what they know what to look for. Like if they're looking at this border, if this one's a little bigger than this one, that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, 9.5. Really happy to hit a 9.5 on that card especially, so I can't complain. Another card here. Let's check this one out. Okay, pretty clean top. Really clean, right? Basically just a very clean card. A little bit in the bottom left. There did get a little bit of something in the sleeve. So that's not the nick. That's just something like that's in the slab. And a little bit of rough whitening at the bottom, if you could see that. Just a tad bit. So we'll see how this one grades in a little bit off to the side. So let's see what they get. 9.5 Omnimon Zwart Defeat. So edges 9.5. So they didn't take that into too harsh in consideration. The surface they gave a 9. So there must have been some additional scratches on the gold. I think primarily what you look for is what scratches on gold. Gold easily scratches. So that makes sense. But yeah, it's hard to see if there's any scratches just from looking at the video. But if you look at it in person, you'll notice just a tad few. So they gave it a harsh grade for the 9. 9.5 everywhere else though. So we will take this card. I do agree with it for the most part. It seems like a fair grade. And yeah, I would overall give this one a 9.5 as well. So not all of them are the worst, right? Some of them, you have your own personal preference. Here's another one. HGA. Let's look at the top right here. So you can already see there's a big nick at the top right. There's a tad bit little white speck, like you can barely see it from the video, but if you do, you got good eyes. And then making our way down here. Okay, so we got a little bit of something going on right there. And that's just a lot in Digimon cards. Like they look like there's hairs on them, like really like weird stringy parts of the cardboard, but it's not. It's just a weird thing that a lot of Digimon cards have. And personally wish they had better quality control, like kind of like how Dragon Ball Super has. And yeah, overall centering looks pretty solid. A little bit big on the top than the bottom. Other than that, left and right look pretty good. This one got a 9. So centering got a 9, and I'm guessing it's because the top was bigger than the bottom. That was easy to notice. So they're harsh graders. They're not easy to get good grades on. So this one got a 9. Overall, one of the weaker cards. But as you can see, the nick there, the nick there. This was definitely submitted with the intent to just have it in a slab, and rather versus expecting a 9.5. But overall, a 9 I'm still happy with. It's on the lower side of the 9, but it's a 9. And we will take it. This is a really beautiful artwork of Omnimon. So we'll take that one. Next one. Here's my, almost my third favorite. I think my first favorite is the Zwart Defeat. It looks so cool with the black and pink slab. Here's the next one. And this is like my third favorite. If not my second favorite. That one might be my favorite. This one might be my second favorite. But just to let you know, it's a little bit bigger on the right than it is the left. Centering, other than that, bottom and top look good. Corners look really good. There's not really much going on. Bottom. You see, it's really overall a very clean back. Really clean back. And it's hard to get that with Digimon. It's so hard. And overall, we got a 9.5. And so we got the corners 9.5. I agree. Surprised I didn't get a 10, but a little bit, I guess. Okay, so we'll give it a 9.5 just for like nitpickiness. If you do see that is actually in the card. That's like a little dust thing. That is not a scratch. Centering 9.5. Okay, we'll take that. Surface got a 9, and I'm surprised it did get a 9. I'm honestly surprised. Oh, there might be a print line. You know what? There's a print line. And it's hard to tell. You see that? Right there. You can kind of see it. So they gave it on the print line. That's what gave it the 9. And then the edges were also a 9. Which were surprising because I thought the edges were good to be a 9.5. So again, just my opinion on it. 9 was a bit... well, the edge is 9.5. Not bad, so... we'll take it. 9.5 is like very, very close to being a 10. It's just like, is there a little slightest simple of a problem? and that will determine if a grading company decides to give it a 10 or just give it the 9.5. I feel like for them to want to give it a 10, it has to be perfectly perfect. So even if there's like the slightest little thing, 9.5. But we'll take that. Okay, and overall, here's the next one. This is my favorite card that I submitted, and I'll let you know how I feel about it after we look through it. Centering, amazing. Corners look amazing. This is probably the strongest card I submitted. I think the centering is perfect on this one. I think the corners were perfect. I was having no issues on this card. I didn't know what was the problem with this card. So let's find out what we got. An Omnimon alternative art from the first set. And centering, got a 10. I agree with that wholeheartedly. It looked perfect to me. And then everything else got a 9.5. So it must have been the slightest little scratch, maybe on the little thin gold text. Maybe they saw something, which is really, really unfortunate. But it was so close to hitting a pristine 10. So close. And this was the one that I bought off eBay off a person. I bought this at the time for $175, but I bought it for that much because I really believed in the grade and the quality of this card, and it coming back with these subgrades, I'm pretty happy overall. The one thing I will say, this is a custom. So if you noticed, this slab is different than those slabs, and that is the reason because I custom slabbed this. I had sent this with pay $10 extra to give them to give this card a custom slab, and this is what they turned. They had a graphic designer customize it for me. They utilized the clouds with that, and they made that look. And then they were like, oh, there's a sword, so we'll put a sword there. And overall, to me, the slab, honest opinion, pretty ugly. And that's just honest opinions, right? Like, this is a card that I was really, really hyped for. I was hoping for like some crazy design. I will note that I did not leave any graphic designer notes to do anything. So maybe I could have told them to, hey, can you use the sword of this look? Or I don't know. But I was just curious. I wanted to try it, see what kind of creativity they came up with without any instruction. And I think this sword just doesn't do this sword any justice. It's just like this was like a baby sword compared to this. So I'm just like not a big fan of the sword. I think it needs to go away. So what I'll do is I'll resubmit this card and just have them change it to one of these, match on card, and then just have it look like that. And I'll be happy with just this look as opposed to this look. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Those are my graded cards. Hope you guys got some insight on HGA, see how they grade. They're still new. Digimon being a graded card is still new. So I don't expect everything to be perfect off the bat. And I hope Digimon Bandai sees this to understand quality control, because a lot of those nicks and stuff are just pack fresh, just straight out of the pack, and scratches and stuff like that. And so if we're going to be hunting for some quality control cards, we'd want Bandai to step it up a little bit to make sure like there's no issues with the boxes and the way they package them. Like I said, the main issue that I had with this overall submission was centering. Centering wasn't, I didn't really agree 100% with it. Not even on the 10 when I did get 10 centering on the first Omni antibody. I thought that wasn't even a 10. And then I thought other ones were better than an 8.5 Rillaboom, really, after the one I just showed you. And that goes to say that I'm grading this with strong critique, and that when we do offer this service to you all as a card shop, we are partnered with HGA to if you guys wanted to submit some of your personal cards with them to get this nice clean look, you can totally do that. We offer that service. I wanted to make sure before I offer that service publicly and announce it that you guys got to see what it's like from our experience and what our thoughts are on it before you submit with the company that is fairly new or might be your first time submitting with. And that's not to say PSA doesn't mess up. PSA messes up a whole lot. So don't tell me PSA gives you 10s when they're definitely 9s or 8s. or they give you 9s when they're clearly 8s. Like look at my Mewtwo's. My 8's better than a 9 for a PSA. So not all grading cards are perfect. Not all service grades are perfect. Not all of them are gonna be, you know, the right thing. Like there's a story on Facebook that I was mentioning before in some of my discords that somebody submitted a Charizard, they got a 7, resubmitted it, got like a 4, resubmitted it, and it came back a 9, something like that. And yeah, that's just PSA. You know, they do their funky little things. I don't know what, they're more of the subjective thing. HGA grades through technology, through a system, and they're going to be showcasing that, I believe, at the end of September, at the end of the month. So that's something to keep in mind, to keep out a look on before you submit. Maybe you want to check out that video to see how their system sort of operates and whether or not you agree with it, because a lot of their thing is they do a lot of their grading with computers and technology and their software. And then the other part is they get a human and they go through it. But ultimately, we'll find out more about how they do it exactly when the video comes out. But yeah, overall, my thoughts on this, I really love the look of the neutral slab match on card. Really cool. I really love the choices of color they used. The antibody specifically, really love this card. Probably my favorite one that they decided to do with the pink and the black. It was perfect. I really loved the antibody and how they chose to go with blue orange right there. Really, really perfect. It's a beautiful card. The slab, how they're rounded corners, I really love. They're light. They can stack really easily together. And it's just a beautiful card to have. Like, this is my card, and it makes you feel a little more proud than a PSA. PSA, ultimately, if you're just looking at it for money's worth, but if you're looking at it for personal collection quality, I'm going to take this all day. This slab look all day. Because I feel like some of the grades were a little off with the Digimon. Didn't 100% agree with centering. I thought they were kind of off. So that being said, we're going to submit again to see what else we can get and to see if they continue to be this fair. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and switch out the custom slab because we're not happy with it 100%. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing custom slabs. So unless I have to give specific notes to the graphic designer and be like, hey, I want it this way. But ultimately, I also want consistency in my look, and I'd rather have a consistent look of this than just like custom slab arts, because it gets kind of busy. Like the Rillaboom card, the custom slab, I forgot to mention, that got kind of busy. So hopefully this video helped you. Hopefully you guys got some good information out of this, and I hope it helped. And if you guys have any questions on submitting with us, we offer a 40-day turnaround. On their website, they offer a 60-day turnaround. Having said that, I did get my cards back in 1 month rather than 60 business days. So that was pretty cool to say. Next submission we're going to be doing is the 40-day one, and we're going to see how fast we get those back. So that's going to be our next test. And yes, we're going to be doing more Digimon because I'm a big fan of Digimon. I'll try to throw some Pokemon cards in there if I feel like it's worth doing, but we'll have to see about that. So Joe signing off. Hopefully this video helped. I'm out of here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for supporting the shop. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.